You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right. You are now listening to the Mike's Opinion podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Greetings and salutations. How you doing? Bonjour. Hola. Aloha. What's up to my people all around the world that's listening? And I thank you for doing so. And those that are watching as well. I always want to know, how are you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I really do. I hope you're doing great. And if you're not, we all go through it, one thing or another. I understand. Trust me when I tell you. But I hope you find a pathway to okay. Nothing lasts forever. Remember that. The good or the bad. Nothing lasts forever. And sometimes those tough times that we go through, they help us. They help us appreciate the good. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. Today, we are going to dive in to Don't Nobody Know. Supposedly, don't nobody know what these things we've been shooting down are, right? Now, from a long time listeners, first of all, thank you for doing so. I appreciate you supporting the show, and my first time listeners as well. But my long time listeners know I've been working on a series of extraterrestrials, UFOs, life on other planets, the universe, stuff like that. And it's been a long time coming. I've been promising it for a while. And the perfectionist that I am, I try to be anyway. This one is near and dear to me because of things that I've personally experienced. So it's eventually coming. This will be not really a precursor to that, but it will touch on that subject. But before we go any further, and what did I do with my reading glasses? I want to just make note of a couple of things. First and foremost, we're going to have a moment of silence for the MSU, the Michigan State University shooting victims. Monday night, February 13th, 3 people lost their lives. There are 5 currently in varying degrees of critical condition. Junior in college, Ariel Anderson, sophomore, Brian Frazier, and junior, Alexandria Verner, all lost their lives. Young people in college trying to get their education and obtain a degree and live their life, and they were gunned down by someone whose name I will not mention. An evil person, a bad person. May they rest in peace. Let's just take a moment. Yeah, we'll take a moment for them. Also, we're going to take another moment, and I'm not trying to get solemn. I just always acknowledge, tragedy has run rampant. It's part of living on Earth since the beginning of time. Natural disasters, man-made catastrophes. These could, be avoided if we had utopia. Y'all know I'm a dreamer. I would love to have a utopian society where we all live in peace and love and in harmony. I don't know why we can't get there. I'm peaceful. I will protect my perimeter and protect my family, myself, if need be. And it's just Earth. It's just living on Earth. Earth is hazardous. But I also want to have a moment of silence for now over 40,000 people. That is the death toll from the Turkey-Syria earthquake, which was 7.8 magnitude on the Richter scale from Monday, February 6th. These last couple Mondays and rough, but it's really every day, right? But let's have a moment of silence for them as well. Okay. Appreciate your life. Appreciate every second you above ground breathing. Born and raised in New York City, I can tell you I became familiar with my mortality early. I'm going to stop it right there. That's not what this episode is about, but I wanted to acknowledge those, respect those, and all of those people that are suffering on this planet and that have lost their life. Now, the subject at hand. And you say, yo, Mike, when you go bring me that episode of the UFO, it's a series. It's a series. First, I had 3-part, 5-part, 7-part, and it's so deep. There's so much research to do. And you got to understand, I'm a one-man band. I'm a one-man band. You ever seen a one-man band? I seen them on Apollo. I seen them on the streets of New York. They playing the xylophone, the piano, the guitar, the drums, the trumpet. They playing all of these at once, right? I do it all. Okay. I would love for this show to grow where I can hire a producer, an audio engineer, a marketing person, and the staff that these more accomplished podcasts have. I'm gonna keep doing it because I like doing it. Have made 0 pesos from this. Have spent and continue to spend because it's free for you to listen and watch this. It's not free for me to make and produce. I ask, support the show, please. I don't like asking. I'm just keep it real. But until I can draw sponsorship, which I really don't want to read commercials. Do you want to hear commercials? Some commercials are very informative, let you know about new stuff. I'll do it. Okay. I would love to become self-sustaining just off of this podcast alone. But right now, I have a value for value model. What does that mean? That means if you find value, provide value back. $1, $5, $20, $100. Several ways you can do so. Go to the show notes and wherever you are listening or watching this. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. I have a GoFundMe out there. If you're rich, if you're well-to-do and you like this show, you find some value from it, mikesopinionshow@gmail.com is my email. It's also in the show notes. I don't have my mailing address out there publicly. I'll be more than happy to give it to you. If you want to send me a shoebox or big box of cash, it would be greatly appreciated and well utilized. Primarily used to get new equipment to grow this show. Because as y'all know, the audio sometimes is trash. If you listen to the audio, and I don't want to say trash, it's just not optimal. You know what I'm saying? It's not optimal. It could be considerably better, but I'm not an audio engineer. You know, I can't say I'm a novice podcaster. It's been 2.5 years. I believe this April, it'll be 3 years I've been doing this. Over 100 episodes. So I ain't going nowhere. I don't plan on it. I mean, unless I croak or something happens. But I cover all kind of stuff. And as you guys know, this is not, and it may be that, I've talked with my wife, talked with other people, friends. So I just do fluff. Should I just talk, gossip and I don't want to say dumb stuff, but it seems like that's what's getting clicks. But that's just not me. It's just not me. I like to say I'm too old for that, but it ain't never been me. I like edutainment. So I've talked about all kinds of stuff, circadian rhythms, racial stuff, love, relationships. It's just not fluff to shock you to get clicks. I love kitten videos. I love seeing like insects and squirrels with voiceovers and stuff. There's an interesting thing, and I know I digress. I've said I should probably rename this podcast from the Mike's Opinion podcast to I Digress. Maybe I'll do an offshoot, but it's been rumored TikTok, who the app is, the banning of TikTok is gaining momentum. In a lot of municipalities, cities, governments, they do not allow TikTok on their company phones, on their company networks. And a researcher, several articles that I have read, said TikTok, their algorithm in the United States, if you don't have TikTok, you just log in. It shows you fluff and cool dancing stuff and antics and basically dumb-ish. I'm trying not to curse. And in China, who owns TikTok, is my understanding, they show intellectual stuff, educational things when you first download the app. If that's true, you got to wonder why, right? I'm not dumbing down this show for nobody. So if I get 5 viewers, that's just what it's going to be. But hopefully, in part of your life, and I'm not saying we all love fluff, stuff that makes us laugh, right? We don't need super substantive stuff all the time, but sometimes it should be a part of your diet, just like your vegetables. And I'm not saying the Mike's Opinion podcast is the vegetables of your consumption, of your digital consumption. But maybe it might be. Maybe it might be a little healthy. So spread the word for people that want some substance, delivered hopefully in an entertaining way, an informative way. So support the show. Kick off my GoFundMe with $1, $5. You be the first one to do my GoFundMe. It'd be greatly appreciated. In the recent few days, the United States has shot down a Chinese weather balloon and at least 3, maybe 4 other unidentified flying objects. Now, UFOs, unidentified flying object, was the normal common term, right? It's been recently updated to UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. I don't care what you call it. It's some stuff we don't know what it is. Now, there's so many theories, so many varying degrees of speculation. But I want you to think about this for a second. Imagine for a second, you're in charge, okay? You are part of the organization of human beings that are in charge, that you're part of being the lawmakers, you rule the lawmakers, you are part of the head of the system, and information you disseminate, people take to heart. People react to. And this is one of the reasons why they say they've always suppressed the alien aspect. If the government, which has recently acknowledged UAPs and UFOs, let's just be clear about that, recently have acknowledged in recent years, recent months, the Tic Tac video, there's these acknowledgement by Navy pilots, things have been released that we saw this, we got it on radar, we saw it, we've seen fleets of them, they've been up there every day, they've been stationary on the eastern seaboard. We don't know what these are. Some of them are cubes, some of them are cylindrical, some of them are Tic Tacs, some of them are triangles. We don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. That's been acknowledged publicly by the government. This next stage or phase, we shot down some stuff, but we don't know what it is. Supposedly, the theory goes, they've got this Chinese balloon, boom, all of a sudden, there's a heightened awareness to the skies. So we've been shooting down things like left and right. I want to quote, I keep throwing my glasses way far away from me. I want to quote the Canadian defense minister and Anita Anand, the Canadian defense minister, recently said, and I quote, the object shut down over the Yukon Territory was described as, oh, no, that's not the quote. Excuse me. I quote, the object was cylindrical, end quote. The object shot down over Canada was cylindrical, like a cylinder. What triggered a lot of people in the UFO community about that term is that it's a common term in the UFO community when describing different craft seen in sightings. There's cube, there's triangle, there's saucer shape, and there's definitely cigar or cylindrical. That is red flaggish, right? When the defense minister of a country, in this case Canada, says the object was cylindrical. I don't know about you, but I mean, there are cylindrical balloons, but all these are not spa balloons. And if we are starting to monitor the air, which I call BS, I call bullish on, because NORAD and every other agency, we've been watching the skies. We've known what's in the skies. And historically speaking, let's just be very clear. The Mike's Opinion podcast, Mike, wholeheartedly believes, I want to say knows, that not only does life exist outside this planet, but has been visiting this planet for millennia. And you say, yo, Mike, can you prove it? Nope. Let's call it a hunch. But I'll call it more than that. It's a hypothesis. It's an educated guess. And there's evidence out there if you choose to look. But what would happen to our civilization, our society, our world, if it was proven and acknowledged that we're not the only ones? Not only in our solar system or our galaxy, but the entire universe is rife with life. But because we're savage heathens, we haven't been invited to the galactic table to chill. Because we still wild it down here on planet Earth. We don't even know how to love each other yet. So, the the defense minister of Canada said that this was cylindrical. Now, there is a Representative Crenshaw. He's the one who wears the eye patch. And today, yesterday, Tuesday, February 14th, he said that he wanted to tell people as much as he can. But the basic thing was, and that's February 14th, rather, which was Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies out there. I got that from LL. You see LL do that? Kiss with peace. Anyway, he said they don't know. Basically, is what he said. There was an octagon-shaped craft shot down. There was a cylindrical one shot down. February 4th, Chinese balloon shot down. That started supposedly this whole wave of shoot downs. February 10th, a UFO is shot down over Alaska. February 11th, cylindrical UFO shot down over Canada. February 12th, a UFO shot down over Lake Huron. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Stephen Greer. He was an emergency room doctor, to my understanding, who became UFO enthusiast, disclosure enthusiast, and I call him a heavyweight in the UFO community. He has a theory that there is going to be a false flag event by the United States and other world governments that is designed to give us another act, if you will, like 9/11, 9/11, when the tragedy of 9/11 happened. What came out of that was the Patriot Act. Excuse me. And there will be another New World Order Act, if you will, that if UFOs are prominently presented, that will prompt some type of New World Order Act, maybe one language, one currency. Who knows? Right? But just think about this for a second. If it was a plan and you needed to trickle it out slowly, right? Because you're talking 8 billion people on the planet, right? And you don't want to cause societal breakdown and panic, so you drip it out slowly. Recently, as I mentioned, in recent months, last year or two, acknowledgement of unidentified objects by the U.S. military and the U.S. government. Acknowledgement publicly with video that we don't know what these are. 2, shooting down unidentified objects, which could prompt a hostile or more aggressive response from the aliens, or photographs and video of a downed UFO. We got one. We showed you we know that they exist. We don't know what they are. Now we shot one down. Then what would be next? The next step might be some kind of public response from a flying UFO, who supposedly we've already back engineered their tech. If you look up a gentleman by the name of Bob Lazar, who decades ago supposedly worked at S4 and back engineered alien craft propulsion systems. Look, continue to live your life. There's no need to panic. If we're not alone, hopefully we're not attacked, right? I am not making this episode to cause any concern or any panic in anyone. I'm not panicked. You shouldn't be either. However, they say that you need to know where you've been to know where you're going. Look at the history of the world. Look at the history of UFOs, visitations, abductions, interactions of that nature. Look at the history of truthfulness from governments. Ugh. Look up conspiracies that have come true. I wasn't there at any of these shoot downs. I don't know what we have shot down. But what I do know, first and foremost, there's a list of things I know. But first and foremost, I know what I've experienced. I know what I have seen with my own eyes. And I have seen things that I could not explain as conventional. I will delve into those things in a later series or episode. But what I can tell you is this: there's a couple of things that you can research on your own. And these are just off the top of the dome, some that I notated for this episode. Roswell, Kenneth Arnold, Rendlesham Forest, Tehran, Betty and Barney Hill, the Cash Landrum case, the Phoenix Lights, the USS Nimitz. But it goes back way, way further than that. We've got religious depictions, we've got cave paintings, we have folklore and stories and pyramids all over the planet that seemingly couldn't have been made, by the technology that we had at the time. I tell my wife, we left the herd. And when I say the herd, I mean the 9-to-5ers, the weekend warriors, and it's been a struggle. I'm not going, peaks and valleys, right? But if I had the means, I wouldn't be asking for your support. I mean, maybe I would. Maybe I would want this show to become self-sustaining. But no, the equipment I cannot afford to get on my own. I need you. I cannot grow this show without you. I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on marketing budgets. I was talking to a friend the other day. I said, there's a reason why, and I hate saying these names, but I'll just say this: major fast food places, major big box stores, cars, very popular brands that you would think don't have to advertise, why they spend millions of dollars in advertising. So a little podcast like mine, which I would love for it to blow up because I want to share positivity to the world, maybe even save the world. Kumbaya, We Are One by Frankie Beverly and Maze. That needs to be like the world anthem. We are one. Anyway, when I ask for your support, it's because it's needed. So that's just the reality of it. But when it comes to the commoners, us everyday people, another great song by Sly and the Family Stone, we're not in the loop. We're not in the know. We give our tax dollars to these people, and they're just people. They have these titles under government, but they're just human beings who have captured the power. And we allow them to have it. Black budget, clandestine budget, secret stuff that we're not privy to, even though we pay for it. Right? Families that have been in power for a long, long time. Okay? That no. I theorize, speculate, hypothesize that I think we may have been going off planet for a long time. And when I say we, I mean human beings. What if you found out that humans have been leaving the planet, going to Mars, Pluto, the moon, and who knows where else for a long time? But it's only to the privileged. It's only for those that can proven they can keep a secret. Far-fetched. Some people say, yo, Mike, you tripping. Bugging. You bugging, son. Yo. Really? Think about this for a second. We are the aliens on Mars. We have unmanned rovers on Mars, on the surface. Supposedly, we've been to the surface of the moon. We have devices in different planets and planets' moons orbits, observing them. We just got TV a few hundred years ago. Okay, we was living by candlelight. We didn't even have a refrigerator. It was called the ice box. You know why it was called the ice box? Because you had to put a chunk of ice in that joint. Literally, it was the ice box to keep your joint cold. See how fast we've come? And some people say like Velcro, microchips, all of these came from crashed alien craft. Fiber optics came from crashed alien tech. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you this for sure. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying any of this for sure. All I'm telling you this is very possible that in a short period of time, in terms of the universe's lifespan, which is what? Supposedly 13.8 billion years old. Billion years. A billion is 1,000 million. Okay? Well, we lucky if we get 80, 70 to 100 years on this planet. So I'm not even talking 1,000 years. 100,000 years. Not even 1,000,000 years. Billions of years. There may be people that are or living organisms that are so intelligent, so far ahead of us that they've learned how to traverse time and space. So if you just look at how far we have come in a few hundred years from a technological standpoint, I don't think you say, yo, Mike, you bugging when you think of an Earth, or not even an Earth, but another planet, a habitable planet with living, intelligent beings that are 20,000 years ahead of us, 100,000 years ahead of us. We've come from the horse and buggy to 8K televisions, microcomputers, robotics, and putting craft in other planetary celestial object orbits and on the surface in just a few hundred years. There is so much we do not know. Now, a lot of the astrophysicists, a lot of physics professors, some of them, and I dare say in their arrogance, think we know it all. It defies physics. There's stuff we have not learned yet in physics, in science. I dare say even in mathematics and various other disciplines that we don't know yet. So before you're so quick to rule out the possibility that we are the ants of this Milky Way galaxy or of the universe, and they just come to look at us with their magnifying glass, and every once in a while they F up too. They crash, or they get shot down, or they're magnetic. Bob Lazar said that he was working on, and he said this on the Joe Rogan podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan. Blow my podcast up. Support my podcast. I love what you're doing. Support me, bro. Somebody show this to Joe Rogan, please. But Bob Lazar was on Joe Rogan, and he was like, he was working on a either gravity or anti-gravity making machine. The machine could make its own gravity. That's how these craft, these unidentified objects or unidentified aerial phenomena, these UFOs, these UAPs, are able to navigate and seemingly defy not only gravity, but inertia. They stop on a dime, like it would slam us into the wall. But because they're inside their own gravitational bubble, it doesn't affect them. So if you ever taken the time to stop on a clear night, get in a comfortable reclining or horizontal laying down position and look up at the night sky, spend some time doing that. It's almost like you know this vast amount of space. Supposedly our universe is ever expanding. There's black holes that suck things in, comets, asteroids, and countless celestial bodies just in our solar system, which is one of many solar systems in our Milky Way galaxy. Just our little, what, 6, 7, 8, 9 planets? Our sun, our Earth, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Mars. The Drake equation is an equation that attempts to estimate the amount of civilizations with intelligent life. I think anyone, any reasonable person can only conclude that there must be. And for me, I've gone past that a long, long time ago. I know there is. I know there is life outside of this planet. At the least, the absolute least, I can almost bet that there's a fragment, a minuscule molecule, an atom of human particle on one of those rovers that landed on Mars, that we've sent to Mars. So even in that notion, there's something there that may be living. I wonder if this is the beginning of disclosure. I wonder if this is the trickle. First, the acknowledgement by the government that our military has engaged with UFOs. We don't know what they are. We've got them on radar and video, and they've shown that publicly. Now, there is a slew of unidentified objects being shot down. And if this is the trickle, I suspect there's going to be more craft shot down. Then what do you think would come next? Excuse me. What do you think will come next? We captured one, right? We show you evidence of one. Then there will be a response by the aliens. And this could be a genuine response, or it could be a false flag. It could be the back engineered tech that we already have. There was a head of, I want to say, Lockheed Skunk Works, who was interviewed. I've mentioned this in another episode, and I need to mention his name, but he said, we now have the technology to take ET home. He said this publicly. And I need to further research that and find out who that was and what context that he said that in. What would you do if it was proven beyond any doubt that aliens exist, that extraterrestrials exist, that there are other civilizations other intelligences outside of our Earth, how would you react? Would you panic? Or would you go on living your life? I mean, what could you really do? Right? I don't know. I wanted to touch base on this subject today because I'm passionate about it. I'm very interested in it. I like things like this. The curiosities, the big questions, the existential questions. Like where do we go to after we die? Check out the death episode. I did an episode called entitled Death. Is there life on other planets? Is other dimensions, other planes of existence? And some people were like, yo, Mike, I smoked that woo, and I was on another plane of existence. Do you have fun? So, as always, I hope you're doing okay. I truly hope you are doing great. I hope if you're not, that it's not going to last long, and I hope you find a pathway to being okay. Because if you're okay, you're okay. You may not be doing great, but I hope you're doing great. But being okay is all right, right? Once again, I ask you, support the show, please. Like right now, support the show, right? GoFundMe, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. I mean, however you want to do it. And if you feel uncomfortable doing that, or you just don't have the dough, other ways you can support the show. Like, share, subscribe, comment, follow. Do so on all the platforms. Spread the word. Doesn't cost you nothing but a couple of clicks or tap on your phone. It would be greatly appreciated. I need you to do that. I need you to do that to help this show grow. Okay? So, it would be greatly appreciated. This is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. I am Mike. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.